Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Download your starter guide so you can explore and master this amazing deck. Welcome to a new weekly reading. We've got the Zen deck today and we are doing a line of 7. Let's go ahead and start with you, Aries, and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aries, here is your line of 7, and it's quite a powerful set of cards. We have very clear messages, especially in the earlier triplet here, and we've got the man in the middle, which represents a person in your life, usually someone significant, and the man and woman cards in the Lenormand deck are really flexible, and it really comes down to your specific situation, who they represent. Now, a clear message coming through here. We have the Child and Coffin, which is a clear combination for an ending and a beginning. And the Whip is a card of challenges. With these Child and Coffin cards, it could be a separation or a fallout. So it's very likely that because we have the man after these and also in the middle, these challenges here point to a fallout with this person, or maybe you argued or you separated. But the rest of the line can point to a healing. And whether this brings back the relationship together fully or not, the Star and Clover being two very bright cards in the deck, they tell us that you are going to be able to overcome this issue, and you're very likely to make up, agree to disagree, come back together, or whatever this healing looks like for you. Now, the mouse is a little bit negative. It's not very challenging, not nearly as heavy as the Whip can be. What it does suggest is little issues here and there, little annoyances, little problems. So there could be some of these little issues that hang on after this healing or this coming back together or forgiveness. But it is, I think, something to be expected. There could be some tension that remains. And also, the Star and Clover really set you up to overcome these challenges in an easy way moving forward. So the problems become reduced significantly, they become downsized, and you have a lot of clarity on the relationship and on the situation as a whole. Now, the Whip and Star is a clear message of overcoming these challenges. So it's really nice to see them in this order. They're equally strong, the Whip in a challenging way and the Star in a positive way. And also the Star being a healing card is really lovely in terms of a message for overcoming these challenges. The Coffin and Clover can mean an ending that serves a purpose. So there's often a blessing in disguise when we see the Clover with negative cards, although to be fair, the Coffin is not necessarily or strictly negative all of the time. And another message here is that there could be a waiting time. So waiting and patience and letting things go for a while pays off. So again, the Clover turns things around for the better. The Child and Mouse points to a new beginning, a fresh start. And of course, the mouse being a little bit challenging, there are a few missteps or it's a little bit tricky at the beginning in the start. And this new beginning probably means this new chapter with this person, whatever that connection looks like for you after these challenges. So these are lovely cards that deliver healing and forgiveness and patching things up or agreeing to disagree, and coming back in a space of positivity after what looks to be pretty challenging Aries. In terms of context, the cards are flexible. Yes, they bring up a relationship, but we have relationships in different areas of life. So it could be a personal relationship, a family relationship, someone at work, someone in another area of your life. Regardless, the dynamic is the same. I would say, Aries, as a takeaway, it's a good idea to give the situation a chance, to give it time, and to have faith that it can turn around and you can change it up or fix it in a way that works for both of you. And even if there are some issues moving forward, it's really different once you get past these challenges and are able to turn the page. So let me know what you make of this, Aries. Let me know if you're able to see through the challenges into a more positive outcome. I very much look forward to your perspective on this. Best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Taurus, here is your line of 7, and it's looking really exciting, especially for work, money, business, financial matters. We have a generally positive reading because of the flowers mainly. The rest of the cards are more or less neutral, and the anchor is a strong card. So it's really the dynamic and the activity that comes through these mostly neutral cards that deliver the sense of excitement. So let's get into this. We've got the ring in the middle, which points to either a relationship or a commitment. And because the fish is a card of money, work, business, and this area usually, it can point to a contract or an involvement that has to do with your work life or your practical life. And so not so much personal relationships. But I have to say the cards are still bright for that context too. So at the end, we'll recap everything and apply it to different possibilities or areas. We've got the anchor and garden. This is very much a combination for sticking with the same place and sticking with this community and also creating a foundation in it. So I think you could take root or, take up space in it and sort of grow. The mountain can point to a place in another location, so a little bit farther from where you are, even as far as a different country, different city, and places like that. Sometimes the mountain is a card of obstacles. So if you've been stuck or things had been out of reach with this relationship, this blockage is going to be overcome. So the ring in the middle, like we said, really focusing on this connection, on this commitment or the relationship. And here's the flowers, a very beautiful card. It's a card of optimism, happiness. It's great for enthusiasm. And there is an element of coming back with the flowers because it's a card of spring. So it's like that imagery from life coming back after winter. It's very much associated with the flowers. So it works well with this idea of having waited or things being on hold or distant. Now there's like an opportunity to get back with this and to move forward with it. The fish, like we said, is a card of money, business, work, and this area. And with the flowers, it's great for abundance, for prosperity. And the stork is lovely for activity and moving things forward. So it's very clear from this side of the line that things pick up financially with work, your business, or your projects, whatever that looks like for you, this practical, tangible activity in your life, it picks up very positively. It's also great for income, a bonus, a promotion, a raise, an improvement, whatever it looks like for you, especially in money, work, or practical areas of your life. So you're patient with this, you're sticking with it, and it pays off, and you could get an element of fulfillment here that picks up really nicely. The mountain and flowers is great for thawing out this distance. The mountain can be a little bit cold and apart, and the flowers is the opposite. It's warm and close and happy. So clearly this contrast here, especially with this order, tells us that whatever was on hold or the blockage is thawed out and it comes back into action. The garden and fish is great to represent your job, the marketplace, some business environment or financial situation, and we see here that you're going to be involved in it. And the anchor and stork is very much an encouragement to move forward and to pick up with this. It's also great for creating a firm foundation out of which you build. So these are very exciting cards, Taurus, that seem to promise a financial well-being, a financial step forward, changes and opportunities coming your way, especially after a time of waiting. And I think the key advice comes from the anchor here and also the ring. They have a bit in common here. They point to this staying situation, staying. The anchor, obviously, and also the ring because of the commitment. So things are going to pay off. Just be patient a little bit longer, Taurus, and you can see that this can work out in a deal, an opportunity, a raise. All of these things that we mentioned can very much pick up in this financial work, business area, whatever is specifically practical for you. And like I said, we could read the line as a relationship reading because of the ring. And in this sense, maybe the relationship is a distance relationship because of the mountain, or maybe there's a bit of a physical distance between the two of you. It can also be something online, a connection online. But regardless, it looks like you could get together and make things happen or move forward in the relationship. I have to say, Taurus, that in terms of love and romance, the flowers and fish together are really great physically. This could be really satisfying and fulfilling on a physical level, and there could be a lot of attraction as well. And the anchor and garden can mean that you make this connection or meeting happen as well. The stork is potentially a trip, along with the mountain being that card of location. And so if there's a separation between the two of you that's physical, you could make it happen that you get together. And the mountain can be that blockage card, right? Like we were saying. So if things were on hold or stuck in the relationship, they're definitely able to pick up this week. I certainly hope that's the case for you, Taurus. Let me know how it plays out for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and perspective. Best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Gemini, here is your line of 7, and it's looking really exciting for a change and a new beginning. We have a standout combination, the Child and Coffin, and this points to a beginning and an ending. In the middle, we have the Clover, which is a very lucky card. And the cross here can be aligned with the Clover in the sense that it brings up more spiritual matters, signs, and guidance. So this could be a good opportunity to make a change in alignment with your inner knowing and your inner guidance. So starting here, we've got the Tower and Child, and this is another combination that supports this idea of a change. Because the Tower is often a card of longevity, time, phases, and it can represent the past, when we see it with the Child, it can point to a new phase or, turning the page on the past, so to speak. And with the Woman and Clover here, there could be a new relationship. Continuing this into the Rider and Coffin, this is opposite to it. It's an ending, and the cross can mean something that is meant to be, or an ending that is meant to be. So it's possible that you meet someone, but you decide you're not going to move forward with this person, and it's the right thing to do. So again, we're seeing that inner guidance at work, your inner guidance at work, in sort of assessing how you move forward with a certain relationship. Now, it's also possible that because you have this new opportunity and you've got the right time now to turn the page, this is the relationship you're turning the page on. I have to say, Gemini, that because of the Clover on the other side of the Woman, it sounds like there's some pretty good understanding here. You're both on the same page. It could be a natural completion of whatever it is you were working on together. Another scenario that I could propose is that there's going to be a bit of a time apart between you and this person. Maybe she travels, you travel, or you're both busy and, life happens. But definitely there's an opportunity for a fresh start and an opportunity to end something and move on. And it seems to be significant and it's the right time to do it. The Woman and Rider can be someone helpful, and it could be the same person, maybe not necessarily. It's also a combination of news. I feel here you're going to get the green light to move ahead. The Child and Coffin is the clear combination of an ending, and the Tower and Cross is yet another kind of guidance combination. The Tower also has a protective element like the Clover, and all three cards have that sense of guidance. So there could be a more spiritual thing happening beneath the surface, or perhaps you're guided by your inner knowing, which hopefully we do all the time. So it's clear that this is an important change, an important chapter that is ending and starting, and that you need to follow your guidance. In terms of relationship, there could be a few different scenarios at play, depending on which one works out for you specifically. You could either experiment with a relationship and decide that you're not really going to move forward, or maybe take it slow. You could also get the help of someone to wrap up some phase here and move on. And she could also be someone who gives you the green light to make that change. So the role of this person specifically in your situation is flexible. And also she could represent anyone that too is flexible. And in terms of context, Gemini, the cards are equally flexible. So we're not seeing a focus on a specific theme, whether it's work, money, personal relationships, or family. The dynamics of the line are applicable in all of these contexts. The key is really that you be willing to close a chapter and open another one, and also that you align with your inner guidance so that you are moving forward in a way that makes sense to you and that aligns with your goals. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Gemini. I appreciate it could be open to a few different interpretations. So leave me a comment or two. Let me know if you want us to refine this in light of your context. I'm always happy to respond. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Cancer, here is your line of 7, and it's looking quite exciting. We're seeing the coffin in the middle, which is a card of endings, and I have to say, you're not the first. This could be affecting a few of us this week where we're seeing endings and beginnings. So we're seeing the coffin in the middle, which can point to change or perhaps a waiting time, and we're seeing here very clearly on the second line, on the second side of the line, an important meeting with important people, and this could be something that elevates you or it affects you in an important way. So backing up here to the beginning, we have the Heart, Anchor, and Stork. These are really nice cards for having confidence and for trusting others. So in terms of a relationship, these are very supportive cards. They bring a sense of certainty and security between the two of you. The Anchor is also quite stubborn and it's committed. So you want to stick with your goals. You want to keep pursuing them. And when it comes to the Stork and Coffin, which points to an ending, here it could suggest a couple of things. It could encourage you to bring something to a close, really wrap it up and complete it. And it can also encourage you to wait until things can pick up again. So it depends on your specific scenario. But in terms of endings, Cancer, you definitely want to bring things to a close. And as we're going to see here in the second half of the line, this is going to be significant for you. So the guardian and dog is often a meeting and get together with others or another person. It could be colleagues, friends, in any context really it applies. And the bear is a card of importance. It usually points to managers and bosses. And so it represents important people, influential people that you are meeting with. But what's also possible, Cancer, is that perhaps you are that person. You know, you are a person of importance and people rely on you and, you know, you have that sort of presence and influence. Now, what's interesting is the contrast between the dog and bear. In a work context, for example, the dog represents a junior employee, whereas the bear represents a senior manager, you know, so there is that sort of relationship. It's also a good combination for representing mentor and student and those sorts of relationships, a child and parent or teenager and a parent with the dog. So there is that sort of relationship dynamic that we're seeing in this second half of the line. So this is exciting because you're in for exciting meetings. You could get a promotion. You could be involved with others. You could have a certain standing in your community. And it picks up after a time of waiting, or it picks up after you wrap things up and, you know, it comes through as an achievement and you're appreciated for that. It's also a good idea, Cancer, to get out and be with people. So the coffin followed by the guardian, dog, and bear can mean that you get out of your shell a little bit, or maybe you had been postponing to get involved, to mix and mingle with these people. So this is definitely a good time to do this. The Stork and Guardian is great for activity, again, encouraging you to go out, be with people, explore. The Anchor and Dog is great for strong relationships, and the Heart and Bear is great for big feelings, warm feelings. So this is really nice for personal relationships as well. So I was going to bring this up just now to look at the line in terms of a personal relationship. And in this context, whether it's love, a friendship, and other warmer connections in your life, Cancer, they pick up really nicely. You could get together with that person or with others, enjoy some good times, and you could feel that the bond is strengthening. So again, really the coffin is temporary in the sense that you want to get out of your shell and maybe wait for the right time to connect with others. And as soon as you do, I think you're going to find that things progress rather nicely. So let me know what you make of this, Cancer. Is this personal for you? Is it related to work or something else in your life? What was the coffin for you? Was it an ending, something that you were bringing to a close, or was it you getting out of your shell to be with people and enjoy these connections? Let me know in the comments. As always, I look forward to your perspective. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Leo. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Leo, here is your line of 7. And in the middle here, we have a man, which represents a person, whoever they may be specifically for you. So this person is in focus, and it seems that there's going to be a meeting or a get-together with this person. Now, earlier, we have the whip, which is challenging, and we have the clouds, which is a little bit challenging. So the whip is heavier than any other negative card. But at the end of the line, we have the beautiful sun. And the sun is one of the brightest cards of the deck. So it's really nice to see it at the end of the line. It tells us that these challenges are going to be resolved. So this could be a week where you take advantage of the situation as it is to fix it and to heal it and to be on the same page with this person. And the scenario could also mean that this person helps out with the problems that you're facing and solving them. So earlier here, we have the whip, cross, and house, and the whip and cross can be a bit painful. There can be some regrets or difficulties on a deeper emotional level. And with the house, it's usually home and family or any environment where there's like a closer inner circle type of situation. So there can be some challenges on the home front or with closer people in your life, and it may well involve this man or this person. What's lovely though is the clover, which is a very lucky card, and this is often a card that tells of blessing in disguise when there are challenging messages. With the clouds, the clover often encourages you to avoid negative thinking. And it tells us that you could have less reason to be negative than you think. So there's no need to be anxious or in a negative state of mind in this context. So the idea is really to see through that. And what's lovely is the beautiful sun on the other side of the clouds, because it shines its light, it comes out from behind the clouds, and it clarifies the whole situation. So this is definitely an opportunity, Leo, to clarify matters, to resolve differences, to bring them out into the open, and to forgive and to clarify and feel good all over again. The house and clover can mean a chance meeting. It can mean that you get together with someone without intending. But if not, because that's a less frequent occurrence, the clover certainly delivers luck in this context. The cross and clouds is a bit more difficult here because you have to go within. You need to sort through your feelings and sort through your priorities. So you could be a little bit confused and feeling a bit stretched and overwhelmed by not only maybe this relationship situation, but your life as a whole. And the reason I say that is because the cross tends to affect life in a bigger way. The whip followed by the sun is lovely for healing and overcoming the challenges. They are equally strong cards, but the sun is positive, and in this order, it helps overcome the challenges of the whip. So these are a really nice message, Leo, that help you overcome the challenges. I would say focus on being more optimistic and also on wanting to achieve clarity. Now, in terms of context, the cards are flexible. Yes, they bring up a relationship, but we have relationships in all areas of life. So this could be focused on personal, family, work, another area, maybe some hobby in your life. It's really flexible in terms of what context and who this person is for you. The idea is really to focus on overcoming challenges and having faith that you can overcome them and be in a much happier mindset. And if this is someone who comes to help you out with your challenges, it's clear that you need to welcome this help, Leo, because you'll soon overcome them and be in a pretty happy place, as we see with the sun. So let me know what you make of this, Leo. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Virgo, here is your line of 7, and very exciting. There's a very clear message about a proposal or an invitation and even a contract. We see this mainly through the ring and letter, which is a very clear combination for this, but we also have it with the book and letter, book, flowers and ring, and the book in the middle, and the heart and letter. So the position of the cards help as well. Now, the book can be a card of the unknown, so maybe things are still in the works, or maybe they had been on hold for some time. But with the flowers, which is a very bright card, it looks like things can be set into motion this week, Virgo, and this contract or this commitment or invitation materializes this week. Backing up here, we have the heart, cross, and house. This is quite a deep combination for getting close to someone or feeling good within a space or with certain people. So maybe this is what you're hoping for, like you're betting on, and you're emotionally invested or personally invested in this engagement or involvement with these people, this person, or this situation. Again, the book can mean that things were not known or were a bit mysterious for some time, but they are also in progress, and with the flowers, they could materialize outright, which they very likely will within the week. And like we said, the ring and letter is a clear message for a contract. So it's lovely and exciting. You could get that agreement going, that invitation, whatever this agreement looks like for you, whether it's a contract or an offer or an invitation or a deepening connection, it should work out within the week. So this is really exciting. Now, the house and flowers is lovely for a happy space, and you could also be celebrating. It's also great for being in a creative environment. It's quite festive and outward, so it's a good idea to spend time with people. They're also great cards for beauty, like decorating and improving your space, improving your whole kind of energy around you. The cross and ring is a relationship that is quite important to you, Virgo, and it's probably one that is meant to be. And the heart and letter classically represents love messages and love letters, but it's also great for happy news and good connections and happy communications between you and the other party here. So these are some lovely cards. They deliver good news. They deliver a contract, an agreement, and you're very much looking forward to this, and it's going to make you really happy. In terms of context, the cards are flexible. It could be something job-related, work-related, business-related, that side of life. It could be something else. It could be procedural, administrative, legal, and things like that as well. And it could be personal, friendships, love, and closer connections in your life. So things should work out really nicely. You should get that invitation. You should get that agreement and move forward with it. So the context is flexible, but the idea is very clearly the same. I also think it's a good idea to be happy and grateful and generous as well, Virgo, because I think you want to spread this happy energy with these people, this relationship, or this environment here represented by the house. I can also add that maybe you had been studying or learning in acquiring skills, and maybe you're at a point where you're going to get certified, where you where your skills are acknowledged, where your success comes through, and you could get the ring and letter as a result of your completion here, or at least that milestone. So really nice cards across the board, Virgo. I certainly hope they resonate with you in this way and they materialize positively for you. Let me know. As always, I look forward to your feedback. Best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello Libra, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Libra, here is your line of 7. We have the fish in the cards, which is often a card of money and finances and work and business. So this practical side of your life. So this could be the theme that is in focus for you this week. We also have some pretty positive cards, mainly the key along with the moon. And this could present an offer or an opportunity. So let's back up here to the beginning of the line. With the clouds and fish and birds, it's likely that you have some expenses or that you're spending a little bit. Maybe you have to shop. Maybe you have to do a few things for yourself financially. And so you could be a little bit stretched thin and you have to prioritize and you could feel a little bit all over the place because of this. It can also apply in the context of work and business where you are likely negotiating a certain path forward or an opportunity as we see with the moon. Now, the road in the middle is a card of choices, and it's often about the path ahead. So it seems to me, especially in the context of these cards, Libra, that you might want to prioritize and you might want to maybe avoid spending on certain things right now and prioritize others. So you might want to make this assessment. In terms of negotiating, the road is quite good because it tells us that you're moving forward with this. The key is a lovely card for success. It's great for resolving any problems. It's great for opening doors and finding solutions. It's also a great card for getting that opportunity, which we see with the moon. The moon is also a card of offers and invitations, so it works really well with this. And the Tower can mean a few different things here. The Tower is a card of the long term or the past, that element of longevity. So it can mean that this offer or this path that you're going down is going to unfold over the longer term. It's also a card of formalities and things like the law, administration, and those sorts of areas. And so with these offer cards, you could formalize an agreement. It's also a card of authority, so maybe you're negotiating with people at the top or the right people. And it also has a protective element, which is really nice to see. So I think you're on the right track with this, Libra, and you could solve any differences, come to a common ground with the other party, and engage in this opportunity. The bird and key is lovely for getting answers. So it's a very good idea, Libra, that you ask questions, you clarify, and like we said, negotiate. And I think you're going to find that you get the answers that you want and get the advantages also that you're after. The fish and moon is lovely for an offer. It's great for money. It's great for prosperity. And it's great for all sorts of opportunities, usually of the work, business, money kind, but it could be in other contexts as well. And the clouds and Tower is about clarifying your objectives over the longer term. So again, if you have things on your mind or doubts, it's important, Libra, that you speak with the right people, maybe consult with someone who's expert so that you can clarify these options or this opportunity so that you can move forward with it. And keep your long-term vision foremost in mind. So I think this is going to be important. It's not just what happens now, it's how this opportunity unfolds over the longer term. I think this is mostly focused on your practical life, whether you work or not, Libra. It's focused on your practical life. Focus on the long term. Focus on how you can prioritize the opportunity, your expenses, your life in this area, and focus on the long term so that what you do now aligns with your objectives over this longer time phase. I'm not seeing so much people cards, so it's not really about personal relationships. It's really more about you, certain choices that you're making, certain priorities and opportunities that you are engaging in. So hopefully this resonates positively with you, Libra. I certainly look forward to your thoughts and feedback about this. Let me know in what context these cards played out, if it was work related or just your finances in general, and this long-term picture and how you're prioritizing. I always look forward to your feedback and your perspective. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Scorpio, here is your line of 7. It's a little bit challenging with a specific person here because we have the whip and heart, especially at the end of the line. But there's also the stork that comes after these 3 cards that point to stuckness. So I have to wonder also, Scorpio, if this isn't relieving on some level. It sounds like this person has been difficult or out of reach, and you've come to a point where you're just gonna maybe move on or make a point. So looking at the Tower, Clouds, and Mountain, these cards really focus on this idea of being stuck and not being able to express. The Clouds is a card that is generally negative. It points to stress and confusion. It's not as dramatic as the Whip, but it does point to this idea of being confused, not having clarity. And with the Tower and Mountain, which are slower cards, and the Mountain especially being a card of blockages, it seems to me that you're not sure what to do with this person. The Tower is also a card of time, so it sounds like you've been stuck in this situation for a while. So I think that you're reaching a point where you just need clarity. You need to understand what's going on with this person or what your relationship is like with them. The dog in the middle is this relationship. It's often a card of friends, colleagues. It can be siblings, and anyone really at your level or in your peer group. And then we've got the Stork and Whip, which is usually a confrontation, an argument, or something difficult that comes up. And the Whip and Heart is the more challenging combination here because it usually points to emotional pain or a heartbreak and things like that. So the idea of how this unfolds really highlights that you're getting unstuck from this situation with this person and making a point. And this could be difficult. Maybe it leads to a fallout. Maybe it leads to a confrontation. And so there is like a hurtful episode, if we can say that. Of course, it depends on your specific situation. But regardless of the outcome, I have to say, Scorpio, that it's best to bring things out into the open than to stay stuck wondering where this person stands, where you stand. And so this could lead to that, that little Whip and Heart situation here. The Mountain and Stork is definitely a combination for overcoming blockages, especially in this context. It is also a combination for traveling. You might go somewhere. It could apply in the context of this relationship, or maybe it's just overcoming these blockages. And the Clouds and Whip is the confrontation. So again, here, it's very clear that you need to break out of this state where things are stressful in your mind and express them. And the Tower and Heart is actually lovely because it is a card that points to a long-term relationship, feelings that are over the longer term. There's a sense of commitment here. And you could be longing for something from the past, but I think that it's possible you're able to resolve the issues. So despite the Whip, this bottom combination can tell us that you save the relationship. And so it's not a bad idea, Scorpio, that you get unstuck and have that conversation or that confrontation, bringing things out into the open in order to resolve them over the long term. So potentially a difficult episode, a bit of a bottleneck here, but with potentially good outcome as well. Now, in terms of who this relationship is, Scorpio, it's totally flexible. It could be someone like family. It could be a friend. It could be a colleague. It could be someone else in other areas of your life. This is totally flexible. The dynamic is the same. Something has been stuck for a while. It needs to get unstuck, have that conversation, and see if you can work through the relationship moving forward. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Scorpio. I certainly look forward to your feedback, who this person is, what the issue was, and how you move forward. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and perspective. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your line of 7, and it's looking quite potent, there's a major change, there's a major opportunity, and there's some really good news. The Coffin is right in the middle. This is a card of endings. It can be a card of waiting or patience or absence, but we have the Scythe, which really points to an ending in a very final way, usually. And we have the lovely Clover and the lovely Key. These are very bright cards. So it looks like you're in for a very positive change, probably coming through an invitation, opportunity, or some kind of invite. So the Garden, Clover, and Letter, this is lovely for getting together with others, having an invitation to a space or a certain environment or community. And the Coffin and Scythe points to an ending. So when we see the cards like this, it usually means that you're able to get involved in this space or this situation. And this enables you to let go of what you're doing right now. So this brings a change, like we're saying. The Moon and Key is lovely for an offer or an invitation. You could get the opportunity that you want. You could have doors open, and it's potentially a breakthrough as well because we have the Scythe nearby. So this can be quite exciting for you, Sagittarius. Good news, an offer, and you're able to make a change, potentially a deep one. So the Letter and Scythe is often breaking news, news that comes suddenly or that results in deep changes. The Clover and Moon is lovely for a lovely offer, a lovely invitation. You could also get appreciation and positive feedback. And the Garden and Key is lovely for having success in a certain environment. It could be a workplace, a community, a marketplace. It depends really on your specifics, what space and environment the garden represents. But with the Key, it's about breaking into it and breaking through and doing well, and also getting support and being appreciated by others. So it's really a great combination for success. In a more specific way, the Key is great for coordinating others. So when you have the garden in terms of people and community, you could be doing well at leading them into a certain result that you guys are after. So these are really exciting cards, Sagittarius. There's definitely a change and an ending that comes as a result of an opportunity. And it's an active time. You're going to be involved. You're going to be exchanging this communication with others. There's a lot of give and take. And the key really through the central cards here is that ending. So in terms of context, it's flexible. It could be work related. It could be social. It could be something else that you're doing for yourself. The dynamics are the same. So for example, in terms of work, it's very clear that you get an offer. This is very straightforward. So you're able to move jobs. In terms of other ways that you work, so if you're not strictly a job person, you could be making some deep changes in your activity and your projects because you have this opportunity that comes through. In terms of people, you could be leaving and letting go from certain people in order to engage with others. This is possible. In this sense, though, I'm not really seeing one-on-one cards like a ring or a heart or a person card. So I think it's more in your life generally. But you let me know. Let me know what you make of this, Sagittarius. If there's an exciting ending and opportunity coming your way. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Capricorn, here is your line of 7. It's looking really bright, mainly because of the lovely flowers here. And there's also a pretty clear message coming through. We have the coffin in the middle, which points to endings, but I feel also a time of waiting. And the reason I say that is because the flowers is often a card of renewal. So things come back into play after winter. It's the spring card. And so there's that metaphor, that idea. Earlier, we have the tree, dog, and mountain. So it sounds like you were maybe hanging out in some place. Maybe you're waiting on a friend to come through. The coffin here creates a sense of peace and restfulness, mainly because of the tree. The mountain can also be a place abroad. And so maybe you have that connection with this person and you weren't hearing back from them for a while until this week, hopefully, where we have the moon, flowers, and letter. And there's some good news that comes back to you. I'm also thinking, Capricorn, that you could have taken a break, gone on a vacation or something, and now with the moon, flowers, and letter, you're coming back into action and getting in touch with people and following through where you need to. But these are definitely great cards for reconnecting with someone after a time apart, or you being apart, or them being away. And it does clearly bring up some good news here. The mountain and moon can be an invitation, and it's also a combination that points to thawing out. So the moon warms the coldness of the mountain, which works well with this idea of coming back after a time apart. You could also be invited to a place abroad or going somewhere. You could be considering a lifestyle in that location. The dog and flowers is great for reconnecting with someone. The flowers is great for success and well-being across the board. It's a very positive card. So in terms of relationships, this is great for the connection. It could also be a lot of fun and happiness. The tree and letter is about news that goes into something beautiful. And so again, this is some good news that comes through. And it's likely that you hear back from this person. So the news comes from this person, or they relay the news. And you might want to consider things as well, consider options depending on what this news is about, because the tree is, again, that card of patience and slowness, and we have the coffin in the center, so it does have that overall slower energy. So there's some really good news coming through, Capricorn. It might take a bit of time for it to come through. Maybe you had been waiting on it for some time, but this phase of waiting is hopefully coming to an end, and you should hear back. Now, in terms of context, the cards are flexible. You could be waiting on some news in whatever context or situation in your life. It could be a work offer, for example, that you had been waiting to hear back. It could be a friend who had been away and you're waiting to hear back. Regardless of the context and who this person is, it's flexible. The idea is the same. There's some really good news and being in touch with them again. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Capricorn. I certainly hope this is good news for you and positive feedback. Leave me a comment or two to let me know what your perspective on this is. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aquarius, here is your line of 7. And it's looking good for work, money, business, because we have the fish in the cards, which is a card of money and finances and work, business, or whatever activities are practical in your life. It seems to me, Aquarius, that for a while you've been getting this theme. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're really focused on your prosperity, your security, and your practical life over the past few weeks, I think. We have the house in the middle. The house can represent your home. Maybe you're investing in property. It can also represent your team on the job or some other group that you're part of. And so it could be in focus for you this week because it's right in the middle. We have some good news here, or news of an offer with the moon and letter, and the mountain could be going somewhere for it. So let's back up here. We have the lilies, anchor, and fish. This is lovely for your career, your work, your lifestyle. It sounds like you are on a sound footing financially with your security in general. And if we tie the house into it, it can bring in this element of property or where you live, and also your business or your activity. And clearly you're on the right path. And the lily and anchor are very much about being established, and the house actually adds to that. So it's clear that you're building a prosperous foundation, Aquarius, whether it's over the short term or the longer term. It sounds like you're in the right career, lifestyle, and overall situation right now. The moon and letter is definitely an invitation and an offer. And the mountain can be a place abroad or online. So you could be invited to expand or pursue certain activity, whatever that looks like for you specifically. The fish and moon supports this as well. This is potentially good for increasing your finances or improving them in some way or other. The moon is a gentle card and it can be associated with work and vocations. It could also be a business offer or an opportunity or financial improvements, whatever they look like for you. And the anchor and letter is definitely about news and getting feedback. It's also great for a conclusion or arriving on the same page with someone else. And this supports this idea of an offer or an agreement of sorts. The lily and mountain can mean a couple of things. It can mean a life in a different location, a life abroad, or maybe you're doing some activity online. That's also possible. But I also feel, Aquarius, that you could be slowing down a little bit because you're contemplating the bigger picture. You might take a break as well. So there could be quite a lot going on for you, your work, money, business. But the lily and mountain could invite you to slow down a little bit. And again, you could be contemplating an expansion into different locations. So that is possible. So if this is about your work, it's about that sort of growth. But I also wonder if maybe you're thinking of a relocation or creating a home base for yourself in another space as well. And maybe here you'd be investing in something or renting or looking to, make some kind of arrangement in this sense. That too is possible. Otherwise, great cards for jobs, work, business, any project is great. You could get an offer, an opportunity. I'm not seeing so much the personal one-on-one relationships, although we have the house. The rest of the cards are not so much about these relationships. So I'm not sure this is in focus for you. But in case it is Aquarius, then you're definitely in touch with this person. Maybe you're planning a visit or a get-together, or maybe it happens within the week and over. So the cards are flexible in terms of context, but the news is clear, the strong foundations are clear, and this element of creating space and peace for yourself is also on the table. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Aquarius. I certainly hope they resonate positively with you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Pisces, here is your line of 7. It's looking really tricky. It looks like you're managing something carefully and you are heading in an important direction and you need to make some deep decisions. We have earlier here challenges with a person. I wonder if you're going separate ways or you're making arrangements for how to deal with things moving forward. So let's back up because there could be a lot of different things happening here. So the whip with the woman and ship, or just the whip and woman, this typically points to a disagreement with someone. And because of the ship into the mountain and snake, actually the whole line, you could be going separate ways. So it might be a good idea for you to avoid someone because they turn out to be difficult. And the way you do this is, despite the whip, which is often a confrontation kind of card, the rest of the line is more calm and cautious, and so you move on to do your own thing. So you don't have to spend too much time confronting this situation. Now, the ship with the mountain and snake into the rest of the line. So getting past the challenges here, it sounds like you're changing directions. I have to say, Pisces, it could be a deep change. We have the cross and the ship and the mountain. You could be traveling far, you could be moving, and this could be a deeper change. And this might upset certain people around you, that you are choosing your own path like this and you're choosing to do something different. And it could be quite important here because of the cross. Also, apart from the ship and mountain being a combination that points to a place abroad, the snake and mountain is often a card that combination that points to getting around an obstacle in an indirect way. And the rider also calls for caution and moving forward carefully. The cross can also be a challenging card, especially when we pair it with the whip. And it points to heavy, difficult things. But also, the cross can point to matters of destiny and things that are meant to be, and deep changes or deep energies at play in your life. So this part of the line, after the issues with people or this person, is that you are redirecting yourself in a pretty significant way. And I can't say this is the easiest of things, but it's definitely significant for you, Pisces, and you're going to go for this. Now, the ship and snake is a bit like the snake and rider. It's about turning away. It can also point to the indirect path to achieve your goals. The woman and rider can point to news or a messenger. Often this is someone helpful, and maybe you could get support with these changes. But also, it could be the same woman with whom we had this issue earlier. So here you see how you move forward with the relationship. The whip and cross is challenging. It can point to pain and difficulty. It can also point to karma, I have to say. So reaping what you sow, but in the negative way. So maybe Pisces right now, you're in for deeper lessons and the takeaways are significant. So this is definitely a week for awareness and for redefining your direction and for making some pretty significant and important decisions in this regard. The role of this person in this picture is flexible. It could be someone you move away from, and in the process you redefine yourself. And it could be someone who gives you that insight, even though it's challenging with her. It could still be someone who gives you that insight and potentially even support to move forward. In some scenarios, it could be someone who's having problems and you need to support and help. That too is possible. But this side of the line, Pisces, is quite significant because it points to some deep redirection, deep changes, and possibly travels and overcoming obstacles and moving forward in general in an indirect way. So this could be a lot happening, a lot of decisions to be made, a lot of deep thought process about aligning with your goals and your path through this transition. And you could be moving. Like I said, there could be bigger moves at play and you could be making decisions about this, and it's not easy because it involves other people and maybe you're not on the same page with others. So there could be a lot going on this week, Pisces. I would say the key is really to prioritize and also to be clear about your objectives. In fact, this could be a source of challenge for you, like not being able to clarify your objectives 100%. But this has to be done, and you have to do the work, Pisces, of clarifying your goals and your path. And you also have to make some choices probably between certain people and certain situations right now, and your life direction and how you want to move forward, your other priorities. So there could be a conflict of priorities on some level as well. Now, in terms of context, I really feel this affects your life as a whole, but they could apply, the cards could apply in specific contexts. So for example, at work, which is a common area for many of us, you could disagree with certain people. You might move away from a project or a client. You might end up going separate ways with someone, and that's actually the right thing to do. So instead of staying stuck in a situation that's not workable, it's a good idea to just agree to disagree and move on in separate ways. Personal relationships can also be difficult here because of the snake and whip. In personal relationships, the snake is often a card of deception, so it can be a cheating card. Maybe this is what happens here and you decide to move away. And it could also be someone who's generally disappointing and turns out to be not so honest or not the person that you thought they would be, so you're going to adjust and move on. So those sorts of dynamics, right? It depends on your specific circumstance or situation, but these are the sorts of dynamics we're looking at. The key is really to prioritize yourself, Pisces. That's the key. And it's an opportunity through this somewhat challenging situation. Let me know what you make of these. These are very interesting cards. I certainly look forward to your thoughts about this, Pisces, so leave me a comment or two. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.